All right, so next up, got Trump says he won't be a dictator except for day
Why?
one.
Why is there a dot dot dot?
Because he says he follows that up with except for day one.
How do you be a dictator on day one and then not be a dictator on day 2, 3, 4, and 5?
Yeah, so he did an interview with Sean Hannity, and Hannity asked whether he'd seek revenge on his political enemies if elected again to the White House, and Trump responded that he would not be a dictator except for day one. This one's irrelevant to the point we're talking about now. He just basically goes on another thing like, oh, renewable energy is so expensive, even though it's actually getting cheaper than coal. And like when you look at countries that have a significant portion of it, it's actually significantly cheaper than the fossil fuels. Because he doesn't know that. He just says, oh, wind is expensive and solar. I love solar, but solar is expensive.
The only global warming we should be thinking about is
nuclear. If
nuclear warming. But have you been seeing the stuff there's been a lot of stuff in the news about fusion reactors that are going up, new ones that are really, really good.
Do you mean the fission reactors? Because we don't have fusion.
Oh, fission reactors, yeah.
Yeah, no, the fission reactor built with the latest. I don't know if they've actually successfully built I think it's Gen 4 reactor. But like if they could, they're incredibly small, they're incredibly powerful, and they can burn the waste from the older generations of reactors. And as far as nuclear goes, the way Germany is doing it is completely the wrong way to go, because they're just decommissioning. Well, they have decommissioned all of their nuclear, but because of that, they had to solar and wind are intermittent sources, so you need grid storage in order to use them reliably. You need to, when the sun is shining, store all that extra energy in batteries so that when the sun goes down, people can use them. But grid storage is a big endeavor. We don't have enough of it. And so Germany found that out the hard way and is now reopening old coal plants because they shut down all their nuclear plants. And it's no, nuclear is clean. Nuclear is 100%, once the reactor is built, it is 100% clean. All of the emissions from nuclear come from the building of the reactor itself, the concrete that it requires. Once it's up and running, it's fucking clean. So just fucking use it. If you already have them, use it. And with the new reactors, you can even burn the waste from the old ones, which nuclear waste isn't actually as big of a problem as The Simpsons would have you believe. But it is, I'm not going to, it is a problem. It's just not as big of a problem as the media makes it out to be. But the newer generations of reactors can burn the fuel from the older generations of burn the waste from the older generations of reactors. And then the waste from these newer reactors has half-lives on the order of dozens of years instead of thousands. So the nuclear waste from that is even safer than the other stuff. So we don't need to have as long-term a solution for the waste. Oh yeah, also Red Joker 100 in the Twitch chat is pointed out that more radioactive material is released by burning coal than through fission. Absolutely, there is uranium in coal. So when you burn coal, it releases uranium into the atmosphere, and there's much more of a direct radiation harmful effect from burning coal than there is from nuclear. Nuclear is fucking amazing, but it's been demonized in popular media and TV shows like The Simpsons for so long that everybody just immediately thinks oh no, nuclear radiation.
They
waste,
have
three-eyed fish.
Association.
No. Yeah, so everybody just has that gut negative reaction with it, even though it's fucking amazing. Anyway, that's not what this article is about. And Adam Broughton sent a super chat a while ago saying, have you noticed any super far right people running for school boards in your area? I've seen quite a few in Eastern Ontario. So remember that thing that I said about how an ADHD and not really being able to follow through with stuff like that, even though it's super duper important? Yeah, I have no idea who's running for school board in my area. I do know though that the schools in my area are super progressive, and it's fucking amazing. They're really supportive of kids who are not even just coming out as trans, but experimenting with their identity and figuring out who they are, and allowing for that experimentation in a non-judgmental way, which is super important for kids. Because
you have to be able to control for having bad parents. You cannot assume that bad parents do not exist. So you have to educate kids and go, hey, it's okay to be like this, just in case there's a parent on the other side going, now I hope you don't date any of them blacks.
Yeah, so
that happens.
So the issue we're having right now is with my partner's kids. Their dad is very much traditional gender roles, and trans people are not real, and like they're like these progressive, the woke liberals are trying to trans the kids. He is very much of that bent. And so like, but her kids like to do stuff like wear dresses to school. And like,
he immediately would get, I remember you were mentioning something about this, how they had like a pink lunchbox, and then he picked them up from school one day and shit hit the fan because of that.
Oh yeah, so he's been anytime he picks them up from school, if they have like pink backpacks or lunchboxes or anything, he refuses to give them back to us. So he just keeps them, and then like he has bought them so many new backpacks just to prevent them from having the pink ones at our house.
Isn't that like just stealing?
It got to the point where we actually had to have our lawyer write a letter to his lawyer being like, hey, your client is stealing our shit. Give it back. And so, and of course he can't just, he couldn't just like put the stuff in a bag and send it to school with them. He actually, no, I don't think I can talk about that. So
yeah, that's,
there's some aspects of this that I'm not supposed to talk about. So I'm just going to stop now.
Yeah, understandable, but that's insane.
He's a douche canoe. But like, I'm happy that his kids have the ability to experiment while they're at our house. Like, yeah, they have to wear the boys' clothes when they're at Dad's house, but like, letting them wear a dress ain't gonna hurt them. Like, nope, fuck,
not really.
I'm Scottish, man. We come from a proud culture of guys wearing skirts. And yes, the Scottish people don't like it when I call a kilt a skirt, but deal with it. It's a garment that is open on the bottom. That is not a dress. It's a skirt by definition.
And they go, it's very different. I'm like, no, it's not. It's a skirt.
It's a manly looking skirt.
Yeah, it looks more manly because it's clothes built for a guy's frame. It's the reason why when somebody's like, you don't put men in dresses. Well, no, you don't put men, like cis men, in dresses made for women half the time. You can get dresses though that are cut for men, and they look better on men. Weird.
I went to drag brunch this Sunday with the whole family. It was a great experience, and yeah, the guys in the dresses looked fabulous. They rocked those dresses.
Sometimes it's just having a dress that is cut for your frame. Sometimes it's finding a dress that works better for your frame.
Well, I think they had like a corset kind of thing going on, because there was like kind of an hourglass shape that is not natural to the male frame.
They were melding their frame to the dresses.
It was funny. At one point, one of them said like, "Oh, I went to the theater. Yes, I'm one of those gays." I'm like, "Oh, really? The gay drag queen who is performing in front of us is into theater? I never would have guessed that."
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, Hannity asks Trump for the second time if he plans to abuse his power, and Trump admits he plans to do some dictatorial things on day one of his second term.
Almost have to go to a break. I want to go back to this one issue, though, because the media has been focused on this and attacking you. Yeah. Under no circumstances, you are promising America tonight, you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Except
Look,
for?
He's going crazy. Except for day one.
Meaning?
Except for
I want to close the border, and I want to drill.
That's
drill,
not. That's
drill.
That's not.
No, no.
That's not retribution.
Hannity is trying to save him.
I'm going to be. You know, he keeps. We love this guy. He says, "You're not going to be a dictator, are you?" I said, "No, no, no. Other than day one, we're closing the border, and we're drilling."
Wait, did he just hold on? Pause for a second. Did he just go and do the whole "this thing happened one time" to an event that happened 15 fucking seconds ago?
Yeah, obviously that's what he does. But he's saying the quiet part out loud. He's saying, "I am going to be a dictator if you elect me on day one." Dictators don't give up their power on day two.
No, they don't.
Like he's saying, "I'm going to be a dictator because I'm going to close the border and drill, drill, drill." Drill, I assume, means like new oil contracts or some shit, or fracking or something.
You know what's funny? Biden's not against fracking either.
Yeah, but like, Okay, he says, I'm going to close the border on day 1. Close the border. Do you think he's going to open it on day 2?
No, he's not. He's going to keep it that way.
Because what's the point in closing it for 1 day? So obviously,
he
this
didn't
is him
successfully close the border for 4 years. What does he think's going to happen this time?
We didn't get to the end of the clip, but Handy mentions that. It's like, oh, so these are just basically your policies from last time.
To that, I'm not a dictator.
So that sounds to me like you're going back to the policies when you were president. All right,
exactly.
Take a break. Just getting started.
Yeah, then he goes to commercial. So Handy's trying desperately to save him there, be like, oh, so that's not actually retribution. That's just your policies that you had before, right? That's just agree with me, man, so that you cannot look like a complete total fucking buffoon, even though you are.
Yeah, it's almost like the person who spends 90% of the time in front of a camera knows how to wordsmith and get you out of a bad situation. Take the olive branch when they hand it to you, please.
Yeah, well, Trump doesn't know. He didn't even notice that Handy was trying to save him. He was just like, oh, this guy doesn't like that I'm being honest. Yeah, so he say it's not clear if Trump was joking. He's not joking. Like, he said that in a way that could come across as joking. That's not him joking.
It's joking in the same way that jacking off is just asking questions.
Yeah, no, he's that's his whole thing. He pretends as though he doesn't mean what he says, and then people are like, "Oh, you don't take him seriously when he says he's going to be a dictator," and then he does everything he can to be a dictator. Like it's
fine
now
to stop it and be a dick.
It is now a matter of court record that he incited an insurrection. Like that's just a matter of court record in Colorado.
And now Mike Johnson wants to blur the faces of all of the rioters.
Yeah, no, that's I don't have that video for today, but yes, Mike Johnson literally went in front of TV cameras and was like, "I'm going to commit an obstruction of justice." And then he found out that they already have the uncensored footage at the DOJ, and he tried to walk it back because he realized he admitted to a crime.
Yeah, his one of his aides basically had to come in and speak for him and go, he's not actually going to do that. That's not how that works.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a really short article, but they basically link to all the times when he praised all these other extreme dictators like Kim Jong-un and Xi and Putin, Erdogan, and all these extreme dictators who are nasty to their people, and all the nice things he said about them, and how much he wants to be like them.
He says nice things about dictators who are still alive because they're ones that he can gain political favor with. But when we're talking about dictators from the past,
he just quotes them directly and then pretends like he didn't know that he was doing that. That was an accident. I didn't mean to talk exactly like Hitler.
Jesus.
Anyway, that's that article. We're going to end on a bit of a funny note, but also kind of annoying, because it's Ted fucking Cruz. Ted Cruz, a Canadian export, introduces bill limiting pronouns and name despite going by his own chosen name. Sidebar, this is from The Advocate. So shout out to The Advocate for lining up their headline with the fucking article instead of the ads.
They did it.
Yay, The Advocate. This one comes to us from Fennec the Fox. Thank you, Fennec. You can submit news articles to me if you think I should cover them at news@vicerhino.com is the email address you can send them to. So, yeah, send me news. Send me the news.
God, it sounded like you said send me nudes for a second there.
You can send those too. I will appreciate them. They won't make it on stream, though. Unless we're in a hot tub, because Twitch.
He'll censor them.
I've had to censor myself so many times. All right, so Senator Ted Cruz, who is legally named Raphael Edward Cruz. Why is Ted a short for Edward?
I didn't know that I thought it was short for Theodore.
Yeah, it is as well. It's like, I actually looked up why is Ted short for Edward, and it's like Ted is unique in that it's one of the very few short names that is short for two long names. And then it turns out that I guess it's a little bit harder to say Ed than Ted because Ted starts with a consonant. So it's it's just laziness. It's linguistic laziness. Naramda puts the saying, wait, Ted is from Canada. He sure acts like an American Republican, though. Yeah, he's from Canada. He's from Alberta, which is our Republican sector.
Jesus.
Yeah, so Raphael has introduced a bill to the United States Senate titled the Safeguarding Honest Speech Act. Why do they, like, these things are always so fucking obviously, like, their titles are the exact opposite of what they try to accomplish.
I kind of wish that we had the same rules that the French did when it came to bills, where if anything is in the bill that it sounds even remotely like it's the opposite or not what the bill is about, the bills cannot go through. Sure. The bills have to be the bills' contents have to be consistent with their names, which means they can't have like pork fat.
See, that's why I think it was Cognitive Dissonance, the podcast. They suggested that the Democrats should propose a voter ID bill, but like the voter ID is provided for free by the government. And as part of the bill, they would like make Election Day a holiday, and then like everybody who is eligible to vote automatically gets registered and gets the ID for free.
Oh, it's like like titling a thing.
So it's like
the Maximum Freedom Act.
Yeah, so it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, technically that would give people a voter ID, which is something that Republicans say they want, but it would do it in a way that they definitely would not want. So then you could like campaign on that, being like, hey, these guys said they wanted voter ID, but look, this person voted no on the Voter ID Act. I forget all the details from that one, but yeah. Alberta gave us Kermit the Frog shutters. No, Alberta is not where Jordan Peterson is from. He's from Ontario, unfortunately. Ontario has its fair share of... I assume Kermit the Frog is a Jordan Peterson reference.
I would assume so, too. I don't know enough Canada lore to know where people are from, though.
Yeah, Peterson's from Ontario.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
we hope.
Freedom Inc. says grammatically his name should be Ralph Cruz. I don't know if Ralph is short for Raphael. Is it?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm calling him Raphael from now on because he's like, just picture him trying to be a Ninja Turtle. That'd be hilarious.
Teenage Mutant Ninja douchebag.
Yeah. So the bill would prohibit the use of funds to implement, administer, or enforce measures requiring certain employees to refer to an individual by the preferred pronouns of such individual or name other than the legal name of such individual and for other purposes. So basically, if you, like the same as the bathroom thing, if you go by a name or pronouns that are not made obvious by your birth certificate, then they can't, like, you know, reprimand you for it. If you constantly dead name someone or use the wrong pronouns.
So if you engage in harassment.
Yeah.
Because that's the word for that.
Yeah, but okay, so this part just made me like I think I got a concussion with how hard I smacked my head on the desk when I read this. Forcing anyone to use pronouns that don't accord with a person's biological sex is an unconstitutional violation of the First Amendment. It's like, okay, I can kind of see the logic there. It doesn't really make sense, but
I'm asking you not to be an asshole.
At least at least the argument could be made there. It's a stupid argument, but there is a certain amount of logic there. But then he follows it up by saying, as the Supreme Court held, if there is any fixed star in our constitutional constellation, it is that no official, high or petty, can prescribe what shall be orthodox in politics, nationalism, religion, or other matters of opinion. In other words, they can't prescribe that you must go by the pronouns that would be indicated by your birth certificate. Because that is prescribing orthodoxy in matters of, I guess, opinion would be...
No, it's different here. It's different here.
No, it's not.
It has to be. It's
that is them prescribing orthodoxy.
Because it's Republicans. It's different here.
No. Then it says the government has no business compelling anyone to use pronouns that contradict biological reality. Pronouns don't reflect biological reality, you fucking turd!
They don't affect reality. They're not about reality. They're about identity. I identify as a gamer. Can you find that anywhere on my penis?
No. God damn it. Who fucking cares? Who fucking cares about your biology? Who
I am
fucking
I am biologically a Chris. Don't you understand?
I don't know what my fucking I know what my pronouns are. I don't know what my fucking chromosomes are, man. I've never had my chromosomes tested. I might have one of those things where, like, I'm a fully functional penis with sperm stuff, but I've got the XX chromosomes.
It's the fucking Jet video.
I might have one of those.
It has to be the Jet video with Shadow the Hedgehog. So I don't have pronouns, Sonic. What are you talking about? Everybody has pronouns.
Have you watched the new Doctor Who episodes?
So I actually have never seen a single episode of Doctor Who.
Okay, so there's the new one where, like, there's an alien that shows up that is the Meep. It's the last of his piece. Is this, like, really cute looking thing? It's all fluffy and cuddly with the big eyes and everything. And then the Doctor comes in and he's like, "Oh," he refers to him as he. And then the trans character that all the Republicans are freaking out about is like, "Did you just assume this alien's pronouns?" And then the Doctor's like, "You know what? That's a good point. What are your preferred pronouns?" And the Meep, in, like, perfect parody of Republicanism, was like, "I prefer to use the definite article as my pronoun. So I am the Meep." And then they respect their pronouns.
Hello, the Meep.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how they talk about it. Okay, spoiler for that special. If you haven't seen this, like, mute your thing now. I'm going to give you, like, another 5 seconds to spoil it. Or because I am about to spoil it.
Okay.
The Meep's the fucking bad guy. Evil villain. Like, the reason the Meep is, like, it's this whole thing where it's like this cute thing that everybody assumes is harmless because it's this cute fluffy fuzzy thing with the big eyes or whatever, and then the aliens that are hunting it are these big insectoid things. But it's it ends up being, like, a genocidal maniac.
Huh.
And so, like, the reason it is the Meep is because it's the last of its species, and it's, like, got a megalomaniacal complex going on where it's like, I'm the most important thing, so you will refer to me as the Meep.
Oh my god.
And so that was, like, the first hint of that. So it's like kind of parodying the Republican thing where, like, only assholes would choose the definite article as their pronoun. So
I
thought that was
Donald Trump.
Like, it was done in a kind of ham-fisted way, so I didn't really like the way they did that, but I did get a little bit of amusement from it. Okay. So I'm done spoiling it now, although if you had me muted so that I didn't spoil it, you have no way of knowing that I'm saying that I'm done spoiling it now. So
we rely on chat.
Yeah.
We rely on chat.
It's been out long enough that hopefully you've seen it.
I need to give you my copy of River Song.
Sure. So this person said, can you imagine getting reprimanded or fired from your job for not using an individual's preferred pronouns? Read, harassing people. Unfortunately, that's exactly what the Biden regime has imposed in its latest guidance from the Department of Health and Human Services. The radical left is the radical left is actively coercing the speech of individuals, all in service of a delusional woke agenda. Like, can you fit any more buzzwords in there, buddy?
It's at a point where you start asking yourself, how much of the speech that you use, how much of the words that come out of your mouth is informative or inflammatory? Which one? Because none of that's informative. That's literally just there because them's the words the Republicans know not to like.
Yeah. Yeah, and then everybody's pointing out that, like, oh, you're passing a bill to make sure that people can, like, use your legal name without worrying about your preferred name. Okay, Ted, you're Raphael now, because that's your legal name.
Yep.
It's just how it is. Sorry, Raphael. Ordinary Man Fishing sent £2 to say Rhino ruined my life by spoiling Doctor Who. Hashtag sorry, not sorry.
You could have muted.
I did give a warning. I just didn't say how long I'd be talking about it because I had no idea.
This is the muting mutiny.
Anti-LGBTQ extremists attempting to erase trans people by purposely ignoring their pronouns, gender, and authentic name are nothing new. In fact, we even have names for those insidious acts: misgendering and dead naming. This latest attempt by Senator Cruz, who does not go by his own legal name, to prohibit the federal government, the nation's largest employer, from respecting employees' authentic names and pronouns, is not only dangerous and demeaning, it's hypocritical. And they point out that where is it? So, yeah, the Trevor Project's 2021 National Survey on LGBTQ youth mental health found that transgender and non-binary youth who had their pronouns respected attempted suicide at half the rate of those who did not. In other words, Ted Cruz is trying to kill people.
It's saving lives to respect people's pronouns. Weird. And you know what's funny? These people, the people that want to try to push the whole, like, the woke agenda is ruining the world. This is the people who talk mostly in buzzwords to a group of constituents and not real people at a dinner table. These are the types of people that will try to justify it being okay for trans people to die as a result of suicide in one of two ways. The cruelest way they can do it is saying that they were weak and therefore deserve it. If you spend enough time on Twitter, you will find that. Mm-hmm. The other way, the more insidious way, is trying to imply that being trans, like strictly being trans, causes suicidality. And
no, that's not what the research shows.
No, the research shows that social pressures are actually the thing that increase rates of suicidality.
Yeah, it's called minority stress. If you are in a minority that is oppressed, you face extra stress in your life, and that causes things like bad mental health outcomes and increased rates of suicidality. That's just a fact of life. That has been true of LGBTQ people. It's been true of people of color. It's been true of every oppressed minority throughout history. It's just only recently that we've had the research about it. Sakura, sorry, I can't highlight your thing because my Twitch thing seems to be broken because I didn't test it before the stream. Huzzah. Says, so my father worked for the post office. He always wore a name tag with his nickname, not his first name.
That's illegal. Fine. That's illegal.
It is now.
Anyway, it's not his biological first name. It's bad.
So I have this highlighted in red because I feel like this is important. The legislation is not expected to go anywhere under the Democratic control of the Senate. This is why voting for Democrats is fucking important right now. Like, I get it. I know lesser of two evils fucking sucks as an argument. But, just, you know, you're in a two-party system in the States. That's just how it fucking is. If you vote third party, that's basically the same as just not voting. So you vote for the Democrats. I know they fucking suck. I know they're not as progressive as we would like. I've got a beer delivery. She brought two.
It is the difference between getting punched in the stomach and having your jaw broken.
No.
You don't like either of them.
It's the difference between getting a congratulatory but perfunctory pat on the back and having your jaw broken. Like, yeah, the perfunctory pat on the back is like, okay, this feels like it's performative more than anything. Like, think about from an employee. Like, there was a restaurant I worked at where I worked the Thanksgiving weekend, and everybody called in sick except for me. So I worked 14-hour shifts for the entire holiday weekend by myself, busting my ass, working harder than I've ever worked before, and giving shit service because I was the only server on, so I couldn't help with everybody. So I didn't make great money because the tips weren't great because I wasn't giving good service because I was the only fucking server on. And at the end of it all, the owner of the restaurant gave me a card.
Don't you feel good about it?
Yeah. So it's the difference between getting that card and then getting fired for giving shit service. How dare you give shit service? Don't you know that we have the highest of standards here? So, yeah.
Jeez, you would have rathered that than getting punched in the jaw.
Yeah, so Sakura says Democrats suck, Republicans are Nazis. Better to have sucky than Nazis. Then we can get the sucky out and replace them with people on the left. Yeah, so that's the thing. Especially, like, I know I emphasized the importance of local elections earlier. Now, speaking about federal elections, specifically the presidential election, people say that they'll vote third party to send a message.
What is the message?
The message that they got in 2016 was that going extreme gets you elected. But like the thing is, you send the message in the primaries. So in the primaries, you vote for the most progressive candidate that you can. And then they see how many votes are going to the progressive ones. And then when it gets to the actual presidential election, you fucking bite the bullet and vote for the old man who's about to die. And you're like, just suck it up and vote for Joe, because it's going to be Joe. We know it's going to be Joe. But like in the primaries, vote for the most progressive guys you can, because Joe Biden ended up being way more progressive than anybody thought he was going to be. And that's because he saw how fucking well Bernie did in the primaries. So he's like, ooh, I need to like get a bit more progressive to appeal to these Bernie bros so that they can vote for me next time. Yep, that's how you send a message with your vote. You vote progressive in the primaries, then you bite the bullet and vote for the Democrat in the actual general election.
And he may not be as progressive as you want him to be, but if you're very worried about sending a message, and I hate the fact that I have friends that tried to make this argument too. If your goal is sending a message, what you're actually saying is the message you're trying to send is more important than the lives that are affected by bringing the GOP in.
Yeah. Because like if you send a message with your vote that I'm not going to vote for you until you get really, really progressive, what you're saying is that the LGBTQ people that I know and love are less important to me than sending that message, because allowing Trump to get in will cause them pain, will cause them suffering, will cause some of them to die. Like literally there is a death toll to Trump's presidency. Like, and like, I'm not just talking about like the drone strikes that he ordered. I'm talking about like LGBTQ people that would still be alive if it were not for Trump.
People within the United States that you can meet and talk to and are your friends or family. And if you don't know they're your friends and family, they might be closeted actually. And you still need to advocate for them.
Oni Reynard, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, says you might want to clarify better with old man that's about to die, as I'd argue that Trump is in worse health than Biden and is only 3 years younger.
What are you talking about? His diet of daily McDonald's definitely does not have serious consequences.
Yeah, no, and the fact that he keeps on saying that he's running against Obama is just like he's mentally not all there.
Obama.
Yeah, so like, and Sakura is saying that Trump does seem to have a worse cognitive decline. Yeah, I'd agree with that, which is it's really amazing that like even the left-wing media will like talk about how old and frail Biden is, but they don't talk about the same with Trump, when it's like, no, he's an old man who he barely passed a test that is a strictly pass-fail test that if you fail it, it means you have dementia. And then he was proud about the fact that he was able to remember woman, man, camera, TV, person.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, that was a rant and a half.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we're going to run late tonight.
Hey, I just quickly want to give a thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who keep this show running. YouTube and Twitch are a pretty bumpy ride at the best of times, and the stability a Patreon provides me is worth more than I can say here. I'd also like to thank each and every one of my $20 and up patrons here, and they would be Red Joker, Britzkrieg, Cameron, Dren, Jemshin, Smiling DM, Poundini, Mabbity Babbity, Naomi, Isaac, Agamotto, Jordan, Ravi, Giuni, Kiratorian, Prisma, all of you, I'm not saying that part, and Starlight. And finally, thank you to everyone else that helps keep this channel alive. While you're here, why not check out another video? And thank you for watching.